Wife claimed it was just a girl's trip. I told her to have fun with Kevin. She rushed home immediately. I still remember the exact tone of her voice when she said it. Light, casual, rehearsed. Just a girl's trip, babe. You worry too much. That was the night everything inside me began to splinter. 1. The uneasy beginning. Melissa stood by the mirror, curling her hair, humming softly to herself. She always hummed when she was nervous. I'd noticed that early in our marriage, when she'd lie about overspending or forgetting a bill. Back then it was cute, harmless. Now, watching her hum as she packed a suitcase she claimed was for a weekend at the lake with the girls, it made my stomach twist. Who all's going? I asked, leaning against the doorframe. I tried to sound indifferent, even though my heart was already pacing. She didn't look up. Oh, you know, the usual: Becca, Sophie, and the rest. She tossed a sundress into the suitcase, too quickly. We'll probably drink too much wine and gossip. Total estrogen overload. I smiled weakly. Sounds fun. He smiled back. Too quickly. Her phone buzzed on the dresser. She moved like lightning to grab it. The screen lit up just long enough for me to catch one word. Kevin. To the suspicion. That name hit like a hammer. Kevin. Her work friend. The same guy she'd mentioned once or twice with that casual smile that said nothing to worry about. Except now I couldn't stop worrying. When she left Friday morning, her hug lingered longer than usual, as if guilt held her back. She kissed my cheek, told me to relax, and promised to call when they got there. But that call came 3 hours late. And her background was quiet. Too quiet for a girl's trip. No chatter, no laughter, no music. Where's everyone? Yes. Oh, they're all still getting ready, she said quickly. I'm just unpacking. We might hit the lake later. Something inside me screamed that she was lying. After the call ended, I sat there for a long time staring at my phone. The thought felt poisonous, but it kept repeating in my head like a whisper I couldn't silence. She's with him. Read the proof. Saturday night I couldn't sleep. I opened her laptop, the one she'd left at home. My hands were shaking. I hated what I was doing, but I had to know. Her email was still logged in. I clicked through, not even sure what I was looking for. Then I found it, an itinerary confirmation from 2 days ago. 2 plane tickets to Denver. One for Melissa Carter, the other for Kevin Dunn. Not the lake, not the girls. Denver. My vision blurred. My chest tightened so much I could barely breathe. I clicked on her messages next. There it was, weeks of flirty exchanges buried under innocent work talk. Inside jokes. Late-night chats. I can't wait to finally have you to myself for a few days, one said. And then her reply. Same here. He's been distant anyway. I doubt he'll even notice. Me. My hands went cold. I slammed the laptop shut and just sat there, staring into the dark, feeling everything collapse. For the plan. By Sunday morning, the anger had replaced the heartbreak. I didn't yell, didn't call, didn't cry. Instead I planned. I wanted her to know that I knew, without me having to say a word. So I texted her just one line. Hope you're having a great time. Tell Kevin I said hi. I hit send. 5 minutes later, 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then reappeared. She finally replied. What are you talking about? I didn't answer. 10 minutes later she called. I ignored it. Then again. I ignored that too. The 3rd time I picked up, just to hear her panic. James, what's going on? She demanded, voice trembling. Nothing, I said calmly. Just wishing you and Kevin a fun trip. Silence. The kind that screams. Then, I can explain. I bet you can. She inhaled sharply. I'm coming home. Why rush? I asked, bitterness coating every word. You've got another night with your work friend, right? The line went dead. 5. The confrontation. She was home by 3 a.m. The front door creaked open, and there she was. Hair a mess, eyes red from crying, suitcase still half-zipped. She looked smaller somehow, fragile, like a child caught in a lie too big to fix. "James," she whispered. "Please let me explain." I stood in the kitchen, leaning against the counter, the laptop open beside me, the emails glowing on the screen like a confession written in fire. "Don't," I said quietly. "Don't insult me with explanations." Tears welled up in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this. I never meant to hurt you." I laughed bitterly. "You never meant to. You bought plane tickets with him, lied about where you were going, and wrote that I wouldn't notice. That's not an accident, Melissa. That's intent." She flinched like every word was a slap. "I was lonely," she said, voice cracking. "You've been so distant lately. Work, stress. You barely even looked at me." I slammed my fist on the counter. "So your solution was to sleep with someone else?" She broke down completely then, sobbing into her hands. "I made a mistake. I thought maybe it was something real. But when you texted me when I saw your message, panic. I realized what I was about to lose." I stared at her. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to grab her, hold her, tell her we could fix it. But all I saw was the image of her next to him, laughing, touching, betraying everything we'd built. "You already lost it," I said coldly. "You just hadn't realized it yet." 6. The aftermath. The next few days were a blur. She tried everything: apologies, letters, promises. She slept in the guest room, cried herself to sleep every night, begged for forgiveness. I went through the motions of life like a ghost. Work. Came home. Didn't speak. She left her phone on the table once, probably hoping I'd see how honest she was being now. I didn't touch it. I didn't need to. Trust doesn't just grow back because someone cries hard enough. One night she came to me, eyes swollen, voice hoarse. "Do you still love me?" I looked at her for a long time. "I think I love who you used to be," I said softly. "But I don't even know who you are anymore." She broke again. But I didn't. Not this time. 7. The realization. Weeks passed. She moved out temporarily to give me space, though we both knew what that meant. I found her wedding ring in the drawer one morning. She'd left it behind. I sat there, staring at it, the metal cold and lifeless in my hand. That ring used to symbolize forever. Now it just reminded me how fragile forever really is. I thought about the early days, our laughter, our plans, our late-night talks. I thought about how easily she'd thrown them away for a few days with someone who made her feel seen. And I realized something. Betrayal doesn't just break your trust, it makes you question your own worth. What did he have that I didn't? Was I really that easy to replace? The answers didn't matter anymore. 8. The final conversation. A month later she came back to talk. Her hair was shorter, her face pale. She looked empty. "I ended it with him," she said quietly. "I've started therapy. I just needed to tell you that." I nodded, expression blank. "I don't expect forgiveness," she continued. "But I hope someday you'll remember that I did love you. That wasn't a lie." I took a long breath. "I think you did," I said finally. "But love isn't just what you feel. It's what you choose. And you chose him." Tears filled her eyes again, but this time I didn't look away. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know," I said softly. "But sorry doesn't fix broken glass." 9. The goodbye. When she finally walked out, it wasn't dramatic. No shouting, no storming. Just quiet acceptance. I stood at the window and watched her car disappear down the street. The house felt impossibly silent afterward. Too big, too empty. I poured myself a drink, sat down at the table where we used to have dinner, and stared at the faint marks from her coffee cup still etched into the wood. That was when it hit me. The grief wasn't just for her. It was for us. For every version of our life that would never happen now. And the healing. Months later, the pain dulled, though it never fully disappeared. Betrayal doesn't leave clean scars. It leaves jagged ones that ache when you remember too much. I started running again, seeing friends, rediscovering small pieces of myself I'd lost in the shadow of our marriage. Sometimes she'd text, Simple things like, "Hope you're doing okay." I never replied. Not out of hatred, but because there was nothing left to say. She made her choice. And I made mine. To let go. 11. The epilogue. A year later, I stood at the same kitchen counter where we'd once fought, where I'd shattered inside. The morning light streamed through the window, warm and soft. I thought about her sometimes. How she must live with the weight of what she did. I didn't hate her anymore. In some strange way, I even hoped she'd found peace. 'Cause I had. Not through revenge. Not through bitterness. But through understanding that sometimes love ends not because it dies, but because it's betrayed beyond recognition. And when it does, you learn to build something stronger in its place. Something called self-respect.